Chris Knierim is the National President of Australia's Building Designers Association, and he joins us now from Sydney. Thank you very much for joining us. What, in your opinion, is going on with these cracks?
Well, it's not up to me to say what's going on. It's up to the engineers, and I guess they're going to be going through that over the next couple of days and couple of weeks to determine, what actually is the cause of the cracking. So yeah, it's terrible that this happened to these people, but we have to make sure that we are making sure that they are safe as well, and ensure that everybody is well looked after, and the welfare of all the people there is, I guess, paramount.
And this comes obviously after the Opal Towers as well in Sydney. In your opinion, how widespread is this problem, or could it be?
Well, it's difficult to say. I mean, we've had issues around Australia, but we've also had issues around the world. We've had, the Millennium Tower in San Francisco, which is shifting, and it's currently still shifting today. So, it's obviously, again, it's not an isolated incident. We didn't think that the Opal Tower would be an isolated incident, but again, we have to allow the engineers to go through and really determine what the cause is and how widespread the cause is of this actual structure itself.
So you don't think that there is a link or a systemic problem in these buildings, and that could be extrapolated to other buildings, whether it be in Sydney or elsewhere around Australia, or, as you say, around the world?
Look, in Australia, it's quite evident that we're having issues in the construction industry. In 2017, an assessment was made of the construction industry, and a report was produced known as the Shergold-Weir report. The report had 24 recommendations, and number one recommendation was the registration of practitioners, including engineers, architects, building designers and other practitioners. And the importance of that report, and particularly in relation to point number one, is that these people are going to be accountable. So all these practitioners will be accountable for their actions. And in Australia at the moment, we've got people trading that by law don't have to have PI insurance, and I just think that's terrible. We have to build consumer confidence back in the industry, and until these reforms are instigated, it's not going to happen. So in
your opinion, Chris Knierim, this is well overdue. You'd like to see a crackdown on them straight away?
Oh yes, and look, I've been speaking with the new ministers, and I can assure you that I have no doubt reforms are on the way. They are working quite stringently in the background on how we're going to resolve all these issues, and it's something you just can't come up with overnight. But a lot of industry groups are working together, and we've been meeting with industry groups such as the Master Builders, Engineers Australia, and we've been discussing strategies with them. We've got our own strategies within our own association, the BDAA, where we have accreditation for our members, where we're trying to set minimum standards for our members. So we're trying to do our part, but we want to make sure that all industry groups are also on the same page and working with government to ensure that these new reforms are instigated as soon as possible.
That's the long term, I guess, but in the short term, who's going to pay for this? We've got a situation where this is an old building and apparently out of warranty, and then an owners group saying, well, you shouldn't be actually even buying off the plan or anything under 10 years old then, because the risk is too great. These people are being left out of pocket. Who should pay for this particular incident, do you believe?
Look, I mean, it's not up to me to determine who should be paying or footing the bill, but I mean, obviously what they need to do is try and find out the root cause of the issue, and then go down the legal path to, somebody has to pay in the end, and somebody's, if it's proven somebody's done something wrong, well then insurances surely should cover this. But again, like I said before, there's people trading out there without PI insurance, and unless we get registration of these practitioners, it's not going to happen. So that's so important, is this registration of all these practitioners.
Do you believe that there is a problem with older buildings, that they are out of warranty, and that this should be part of any future reforms?
Well, look, when you talk about older buildings, it depends on how old we're talking. We're talking from 1990, we're talking from 1960, because I mean, you look at some of the older buildings that are hundreds of years old in Europe, and they've got hardly any cracks in them. They've got minor sediment. We've built buildings of today with new products and new technology, and yet we're having all these issues. And the most important thing is that people are accountable for their actions, and that every building that is built should be stringently checked, and not just on 3 or 4 occasions by the private certifiers or the building certifier, but also, you know, for individual trades, because there's trades there that aren't being checked at all and things are being covered up, and it's not until there's a problem, you know, that you're going to see these things appear.
Chris Knierim from the Building Designers Association, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Mary. Have a nice day.